We've still got a couple of months until the Australian Grand Prix kicks off, and I know some of you can't really wait that long to satiate your thirst for Formula 1 action. Well, help is at hand, sort of. Because whilst what I'm about to offer you may not exactly be Formula 1, it may just be where we witness the arrival of future Formula 1 talent. The Toyota Racing Series in New Zealand is an open-wheel series that is essentially based on the Formula 3 regulations you'd be familiar with in the conventional series in Europe and Asia. This championship kind of acts as a winter league for junior Formula drivers. This is where they would go to sharpen their skills ahead of the forthcoming season in Europe or America, as well as attempt to gain super license points toward the eventual goal of Formula 1, with up to 10 going to the winner of the championship. As well as a boost in super license points awarded in the series, the 2020 season also sees the introduction of a new car, the FT-60. If this looks familiar to you, that's because this is almost identical to the T318 that's used in Europe. The engine spec has been upgraded from a 1.8 litre Toyota 4-cylinder to a 2-litre turbocharged unit, upping the horsepower from 200 to 270 brake horsepower, and increasing the top speed to 250 km an hour, which on some Kiwi racing tracks is plenty fast enough. The tyres are the same specification as being used in the Formula Renault Euro Cup and the W Series, with each driver being allocated 17 sets of tyres for the entire season, with the ability to add on 2 sets of wet tyres if needed. And considering a couple of events are held pretty close to Auckland, 2 may not be enough. The weekend format is comprised of 5 practice sessions, 2 qualifying sessions, dictating the starting positions for races 1 and 3, and, as you probably guessed by now, there are 3 races in total over the weekend. The championship will be run from the 17th of January to the 16th of February, with the last race of the season also acting as the New Zealand Grand Prix. So, technically speaking, you are getting your Grand Prix action on a month early. And in the time that the Toyota Racing Series has been used for the New Zealand Grand Prix, winners have included Mitch Evans, Nick Cassidy, Liam Lawson, Richard Verschoor, Johann, Lando Norris, and of course Lance Stroll. Not that there has been any shortage of talent in the Toyota Racing Series field. In the 2020 Formula 1 grid, 4 of those drivers have competed in the Toyota Racing Series. The tracks? Well, let's look at them. The first run will be held at the Highlands Motorsport Park, set in the Otago region in amongst spectacular scenery and a very unique track in general. It is also the only track in the calendar, and the whole country for that matter, which runs in a figure-8 configuration. The second run will be held at Teretonga Park in Invercargill. This is one of the fastest tracks in the country, and the consequence if you stray offline is, well, death. But it's an incentive not to run off the track, I guess. Then we head to Hampton Downs Motorsport Park, one of the newest and most used motor racing facilities in the country. And despite the influx of future talent descending upon the circuit, they're still using the shorter national version for some reason. The next round will be at Pukekohe, a track with a wealth of history and a lot of areas where mistakes will be brutally punished, before finally heading to the circuit Chris Amon, better known as Manfield, for the final round of the season. Now, you'd probably wonder what a series like this costs. Well, the arrive and drive package that includes the leasing of the engine and chassis, the team fee, testing, series registration and entry fees, fuel and oil, tyres, insurance, car livery and catering will amount to 199,000 New Zealand dollars. With additional travel and accommodation packages on offer that can reach up to 15,000 New Zealand dollars. But of course, it's all worth it in the end when you consider the success the drivers have had upon graduation from the series. I mean, let's just go through some of the drivers that have come through the series. Nick Cassidy, Mitch Evans, Brendan Hartley, Earl Bamber, Daniel Kvyat, Lance Stroll, Will Stevens, Robert Schwartzman, Lando Norris, Jan Mardenborough, Marcus Armstrong, Artem Markelov, Sergio Santacamara, Shane van Gisbergen, Ferdinand Habsburg, Jordan King, Richard Verschoor, Nicholas Latifi, Carla Milot, Guang Yu Zhou, Lucas Auer, Alex Lin, Johann, Pedro Piquet, Richie Stanaway. I can go all day long about the drivers that have come through the championship and have gone on to achieve success thereafter. Would you be willing to bet that at least one of the drivers from this year's grid will go on to achieve equally great success? Speaking of which, the driver lineup for this year looks just as interesting as ever. This year, the defending champion, Liam Lawson, will return to defend his crown. with other notable drivers on the grid being Johann, Fraga, Tsunoda, Colette, and Saucy. I mean, hey, seriously, this driver lineup looks really good. And whilst there are some drivers in there whose names look like they've been conceived with Scrabble tiles and haven't much in the way of experience on their hands, you need only look at some of these drivers' credentials. Liam Lawson, defending Toyota Racing Series champion and Red Bull Junior driver. Yuki Tsunoda, Japanese Formula 4 champion and Red Bull Junior driver as well. Carl Colette, Renault Junior driver and French Formula 4 champion. Laurem Zandelli, ADAC Formula 4 champion. Almori Cordell and Franco Colapinto, 2018 and 2019 Spanish Formula 4 champions respectively. And Igor Fraga, esports champion and professional punter. So it's a stacked deck, and some of these drivers have a lot to offer. And so this 5-week slugfest will be great for those still feeling the twitch over the off season of Formula 1. It's a bit of a cure for the withdrawals and getting you in the mood, especially if you're into the junior categories. So yeah, if you're in the mood to watch this series, there are a couple of ways to watch it. Viewers in New Zealand can watch it through Sky Sport. If you don't live in Middle Earth, you can watch the racing live via Motorsport TV. And if you're actually going to be at Hampton Downs or Pukekohe attending the event, I'll see you there. So yeah, that's enough from me. Keep it respectful, be wholesome, don't be a manus, and as always, I'll see you all later.